Tonight on The Local Game, we will discuss the solidarity fee rules and what it means to our local clubs here in South Australia. There was lights out in the south. We find out in Keko's inbox what really happened. Plus cup football in the women's game. A big result for Cert. Plus the State League, some massive results. That's all coming up. Welcome to The Local Game. We are episode 15 here, and thank you for joining us on Keko Media, YouTube, or on channel 44. And today, joining me again, I think we go in the increments of 5, is Marc Talbot. Good to have you back, mate.
Thanks for having me back.
It's we mentioned last time you were here, you come for the milestone.
Yeah, the next one will be episode 20.
Yes,
Seems to be the way to go.
It does. Hopefully it's not that long of a wait, because I do love talking to you. Got a lot to get through in today's episode. Later in today's show, we'll be announcing the winner of that Nosso Café voucher. We thank everyone for entering and nominating the volunteers. And this is all part of last week's Volunteer Week, National Volunteer Week. And just reading through some of the entries as well, there's just so many volunteers that deserve to be to get that spotlight, and have a big thank you. And we do thank all you volunteers, because they do a fantastic job, don't they?
Without the volunteers, we wouldn't have clubs.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. We say we can't have if we don't have referees, we don't have games. But if we don't have volunteers, none of these clubs will be around.
Exactly. And, well, I wish I could give it to everyone, but only one winner. And we'll be announcing that at the end of today's show. Stick around for that. But let's go into our hot topics straight away. And first of all, LA United have made a new signing as a technical director this time. The PSV link has teamed up with them. And they've got Ernest Faber as their new technical director. What do you think this means for the club?
Well, from a supporter point of view, I think they'd rather see a player, but hey, that's a whole nother story. But no, from a club point of view, bringing in they've now got a football ops manager, bringing in a technical director was obviously the next step. And hopefully that link with him and PSV will now allow PSV players to hopefully make their way to Adelaide, and we can start utilising that what we'll call sister connection with the club.
Yeah, well, it looks like he'll be working with Marius, also with Carl Viet, likes of Essen Andrioli and Adrian Stenter as well. So he'll be working with all the coaches and the football director, Marius.
Yeah, well, that's the plan. I think they'll also look at ways they can implement new style of football or amend, sort of rectify the current format and style that they play, and hopefully run that through all the way through the club. Yep.
He's been at the club for a while, so he's a legend there. We played it in his early days as well. So see what he can bring to LA United.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Well, talking about transfers as well, the local transfers window is not too far away. Mid to late June, it does open up. But some people open up the window a little bit earlier, but they can't jump through that window straight away. They have to wait there at the club, which means that there's some clubs already signing players but unable to play them until that window opens.
Yeah, so you'll see that a lot now, especially with only a couple of weeks away. You'll see a lot of players not on team sheets. They've already left the club. They've signed for a new club, but because the window's not open, we've got to wait until that window opens for them to play. I'd like to see the window open a little bit earlier, because clubs like South or clubs that are lower in the league can sign some players now at mid-year, and it gives them enough time to embed a new player and hopefully then change their results. But unfortunately, it's a little bit later than I'd like. But hey, we'll see some changes, and I dare say there will be a few. I already know of a couple that are happening. I'm not going to announce anything, but I've already seen a few that's going to happen.
Which club do you reckon we'll see the most for?
It's always hard to pick. But I'd say maybe someone like an Adelaide City who have the funding, the backing to be able to bring in players from interstate, bring in other players. They certainly need some signings just to help them find the form that they're now starting to find themselves in, improve that form. And someone like South, the teams that are pushing for finals or around that relegation zone are going to look for signings.
Could we see some clubs losing a lot more, like someone like South that will jump out of that ship?
You'll see a couple will go, hopefully not too many, but some will go because they don't want to put up with the rest of the battle, or they're not getting a run. But even some of those mid-table clubs that are players just want to get some game time, you'll find they might make their way to a lower club.
Exactly. Well, we can't wait for that. I love this time of year. I love the rumours as well, because they've already started circulating. I love it. Well, who's circulating as well is the Matildas players throughout Adelaide. They're here now. We're only a day away from that big game here in Adelaide, Friday night football at Adelaide Oval. This is going to be fantastic. It's a big difference from when they were here about 5 years ago. Only 10,000 at Harmer Stadium. I remember being there. So many seats. You could move around the whole stadium. It was freezing down there, which is going to be Friday night. But a big difference is the crowd.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we were talking about it off air. The amount of people that can't get tickets who are football fanatics, and those now that are just effectively jumping on the bandwagon since the World Cup or just prior to the World Cup, they're now jumping on and they're getting tickets. So I kind of feel bad for the football community that have missed out.
I feel sorry for any of the people I may have offended. I've spoken to a lot of non-football fans that have told me they're going and said they've never been to a football game. So I'm sorry if I've offended them, but I've told them straight out. I said, well, I'm not happy with people like you because I know people that are so hard working that worked in women's football their whole life volunteering and have missed out. So for me, it hurts me, but I said, I hope you enjoy it though. I'm happy and sad at the same time.
It has a knock-on effect. It's sort of that swings and roundabouts type scenario where you want more people involved. You want them going to the games, but you also go, hang on a sec, these guys that have been in the game for so long who've missed out. But it is great. The fact that it's a sellout, the fact that it's back in Adelaide, it only shows that they need to do this more often in Adelaide.
Exactly.
So hopefully we get a big crowd. Well, we know we're going to get a big crowd. Hopefully they get right behind the Matildas, which we know they will.
Yeah, exactly.
And hopefully they keep coming back to Adelaide.
It's going to be good. Hopefully they do. And the Socceroos could be here soon as well. There's been some rumours that we're due for a game. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that could be happening hopefully this year.
What's funny is I don't reckon they'll sell out as quick as what the women's did.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I'm sure it will definitely be a high attendance as well. The excitement around that, especially if Joe Gauchi's in the squad and Craig Goodwin, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. But it will sell out. But I just don't think as quick.
As quickly, no.
Yeah, because the women's sold out like that.
I remember.
So yeah.
I missed out on the first two runs as well. So, but anyway, let's get straight into the NPL. Well, this is great. This weekend, or the weekend that just passed, round 12, some big results there on the weekend. Well, Adelaide Olympic just couldn't get the job done against Comets. And then the Metro Stars, a very fiery game against FK Belgrade. Couple of red cards on either side, even a late yellow card to Niko Beric after a few words to the referee. So a lot of cards being dealt out down there, and Vidicchio, the referee, also had to speak to the coaches multiple times to calm it down. It's just one of those heated games, exactly the same, a replication of the round one clash between those two sides. But the big game on the weekend, a huge surprise, is that 4-2 win for Adelaide United against Campbelltown City. Remember the round one, because now it's round 12 is that replication of the round one, and we're going to continue on with the same fixtures as we had earlier in the season, but obviously the opposite hosting of each game. But LA United now they've beaten them, but this is the last time they can have that full strength squad.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one now to see how they manage the next 4 weeks. We know that as part of the A-League squad, they have to have a 4-week break. So the likes of Panache Madanha, Jovanovic, Ethan Cox, just to name a few, they're going to start. They'll all have to take their 4 weeks leave, and so it will be an interesting plight for Adelaide United to work around how they're going to handle that. They've got great young players, obviously, but we saw early in the year when they didn't have some of those players because they were away with the A-League squad, what can happen, and obviously Campbelltown won this fixture at the start of the year. I think it was 6-1 in the end.
Yeah, it was
quite a high scoring game. We were both there actually, and we should
know. Yeah, we should remember. We should know.
But it was a high scoring affair, and Mullen scored quite early on with a unfortunate goalkeeper error. So now that Adelaide United will lose those players, it will be interesting to see how they navigate the next 4 weeks. And they haven't got Ayrton. I'm not sure when Ayrton's back either. I think
it was 5-0.
I know he's still away at the moment, Ayrton Andreoli.
Yes, he was at PSV.
So Vass is stepping into the void there, and I wish Vass all the best and hope he continues doing well. But it's going to be tough for him now for the next 4 weeks at least.
We saw it was last year as well, because they down to kids, and I think a few of them went away for some. I can't remember exactly what it was last year. Went away for a camp of some sort, international maybe, and they were left with the reserves team, which were like 16, 17-year-old boys. So we'll see how it goes. This is going to be a real test for them, but we never know with Adelaide United. But we do know with Adelaide City, 2 wins under their belt now after that very disappointing slippery slope for them. They're back, but does this mean it's the end for South Adelaide in the NPL? Is it too hard for them to come back now?
It's a very tall order. I mean, there's 6 points now between them and Olympic in 11th. There's 8 points between them and Adelaide City in 10th. So it is a massive, massive hill for them to climb. Can they do it? I would love to say yes, because I love having NPL football in the South, because I am from the South. I live down in the South. So it's great because then I can get out to it. But it is going to be a tall order. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get out of that hole that they're in at the moment. Adelaide City, on the other hand, I mean, I think it was 7 games on the trot they lost. They've now won 2 on the trot, and they've won both of them relatively well. They beat Olympic 6-1 the round prior. They've now beaten South. So they're going to be interesting to see if they can continue that form, or are they going to fall back again? So that's going to be an interesting one. That relegation battle is starting to heat up.
It is, and it's getting very tight at the top. There's only 1 point between each of the top 4 sides, which is very, very tight. So only 3 points between first and fourth, and 1 point in between separating each other team. So Metro back on top now. So this is going to be very tight. I love it. Yeah. This is fantastic.
It's a great great second half of the season expected. All those 4 teams have all been outstanding so far. Metro who are top, have probably felt a little bit hard done by lately because they're sort of just getting those, they're snatching draws out of victories.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see how it's going to go. We'll talk about the upcoming fixtures later in the show. Don't go anywhere. But up next, we're going to talk State League because there's some big action in the State Leagues. One of the big guns have dropped some points on the weekend as well. So that's all coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's a local game right here on Keko Media and Channel 44. Welcome back to the local game. Hope you enjoyed your quick break, but it's straight into football as we head into the State Leagues. State League 1 on the weekend. Let's check out those results right now. Well, let's see those. A 5-0 win for West Orange Bacala over West Adelaide. A huge win for the Vipers. They're on a bit of a roll at the moment. A 3-2 win over Salisbury United. But it's the 2 top teams that really stand out. A loss for both of them. A 2-1 loss for the Adelaide Blue Eagles against Adelaide Victory, and a 2-0 win for Cobras over Playford. 2 massive losses. You probably wouldn't expect that, Mark?
No, I certainly wasn't expecting either of those 2 sides to lose. In their form at the moment, Blue Eagles have been brilliant. They have been a bit shaky at times, but still getting wins. Playford, huge win last week, so I was expecting them to go into that game and take the win, but Cobras step up and get the win.
Yeah, well, it's Jordan Puddler scored the first goal, which was a penalty, but it was a late goal from Panay in the 94th minute that scored the winner, the sealer, sorry. It's the second weekend. There's multiple games now that are getting those late minute goals, which I'm loving. And it happened last week, but on the other side where Cobras lost in that, I think it was thereabouts the 94th minute against Sturt. But now it's happened to them this week, and they've got the win.
Yeah, lots of last-ditch goals, which is great for the league. It just obviously shows the defence need to concentrate just a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the other game as well. Adelaide Blue Eagles. You wouldn't expect them to lose, especially to Adelaide Victory, who also got a 92nd minute goal to win as well. So that's massive once again, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, like I said, Victory sitting bottom of the table. You would not expect them to come up against Blue Eagles, who were first and second, to get the win. And again, 92nd minute winner.
Is that a sign that maybe the Victory could stay up?
Oh, definitely. They get 3 points against those. It means they can beat anyone on their day. They just need to make sure they piece it together every week from now on.
Absolutely. Well, let's head into the State League 2 now, because we can talk about State Leagues forever, because there's some great football. We always talk about the NPL, the WNPL, but the State League sometimes some hidden gems down there, especially in the State League 2 where it's not broadcast. So you don't really get to see the games on a weekly basis unless you head down. The Norman Demons get a 4-2 win over Gawler Eagles, Noarlunga United, and also Cove FC. A Southern Derby down there, 3-2 win for the Cove. A few of those players are ex-Hills players who used to play in this derby as well. Friday night, if you head down to Mount Barker, you would have got your money's worth. A 3-1 win to Mount Barker United against the Adelaide Hills Hawks, which just means that the Hawks, since that derby has started in the last few years, have not been able to win at that venue.
Yeah, since Barker have moved into their new home, because they were at the college originally, I don't think Hills have actually taken any points there. They may have maybe drawn one, but I think they've lost both games there.
Yep.
Barker have really turned that into a fortress against Hills there.
Yeah, we're talking about that venue in regards against Mount Barker because I remember there was a couple of games they did play home games there, but it's just Barker. I don't know. This rivalry's got something special about it. It's just a true rivalry. Both clubs hate each other, and I think it's just it's got something in there that's going to be good for the future of the game. Hopefully, we can get two strong sides up there.
Yeah, definitely. Look, there is definitely a hatred there. My only concern is they get to the point where their whole thing about the whole season is just beating either Hills or Barker.
Exactly.
Whereas they've still got to concentrate on the league, and both of them are sitting near the bottom. So I hope it's not just about beating Hills or beating Barker.
Yep. Well, Mount Barker are on 10 points, so I think that could be close to. They'll be on track to getting the most amount of points ever in a season, which is pretty big for them.
Yeah, it will be massive for them.
But you see, Allied Hills Hawks are in a bit of a rebuilding stage. Hopefully, they find their feet once again. But it's the other one that definitely found their feet, but they've kind of tripped over this weekend, losing points, but not a loss. LA Uni, a long streak, 11 wins in a row from round one, but a draw this week against
my old lot, Seaford.
Mm.
Yeah. No, look, a bit of a surprise there. I thought Uni would get up, obviously, a bit sitting top of the table. 11 wins. I think it's the third longest streak. This is from round one, though, so it's not just during the season. It's from round one. It was the streak ends at 11th, which is the fifth best in what we can tell from local history from round one without a loss in the third tier. So
That's massive.
It's a massive effort. So shout out to the Uni boys and Stubborns there doing obviously working magic there, and it really shows. I mean, they're miles ahead in front at the moment, but that draw does kind of put a bit of a stain on the first.
Yeah, and it's a new all draw. So, and last week was the only time that they had LA Uni had ever let go of a lead and were down to Cove 1-0. First time all season.
Yep.
So there's cracks showing, but not like massive cracks. Just maybe something that can get patched up very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. But it also could the right team comes along could actually make it wider.
Yeah.
You never know. It's keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, you definitely do. Well, Cup action on the weekend. Let's take a look at those WNPL and WSL Cup results from the weekend. Well, no surprise, West Adelaide, strong side, 4-2 win over Metro. Adelaide City, they're in struggle town at the moment. A very strong NTC managed to knock them over 3-1. And earlier in the week, last week as well, we spoke about the result last week. Adelaide Comets managed to beat Adelaide Uni in midweek football, but the biggest one of all, I reckon, Sturt, a 1-0 win over Salisbury Inter, unable to find their feet in the WNPL, but able to knock out an WNPL club in the Cup.
Yeah, the joys of the Cup, anything can happen. Sturt, obviously, great result for them because they have struggled in the league. Salisbury Inter have turned their fortunes around in the league, so they've been doing quite well recently, so it's a bit of a surprise, but great result for Sturt.
Absolutely. Well, we got heaps to talk about still. We're going to discuss the solidarity fee rules later in the show. Don't go anywhere. It's a local game on Keko Media and Channel 44. Welcome back to the local gamers. We're about to wrap things up on the show. The winner of the Nosso Café gift card will be announced very soon, so stick around for that. But first, we're going to go into a topic that's been discussed over the last few weeks. It's the solidarity fee rules. Got it right at that time. Must have been able to pronounce it. That is to do with when players get signed for clubs all around the world. There's a percentage, a 5% solidarity fee that goes to their junior club. And that is only been brought up recently. A lot of clubs didn't know about this until Code Sports did an article on it and an investigation from Adam Peacock. He spoke to 5 clubs. Most of them didn't know how to go about it. One of those clubs was Cumberland United, who found out that they're entitled to, I think it was $20,000+ for Joe Gauchi being signed to Aston Villa. this is massive for clubs. They spend all these years building up these players and then selling them, but don't really get much reward. But this fee here that has been around for a few years now from FIFA hasn't been heard of by some of these clubs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is a FIFA ruling, so effectively every club under the umbrella is able to capture this solidarity fee, which I think is a great thing. I mean, we see it so often here in Adelaide. They go on about how they're producing players and the clubs aren't seeing anything for it.
Yep.
We look at the likes of Yengi as well, obviously with Comets and things like that. So effectively, that he's at Portsmouth at the moment. Effectively, they could be looking at those possibilities as well.
Yep.
And with the Joe Gauci fee, yeah, I mean, Adam Peacock's done a great job in researching this. And Cumberland, 20,000. How far would that go for?
I know. But the thing is, the $20,000 is sitting there waiting for him, but it's waiting for them to go and look for it. But if they didn't know this, if it wasn't for Adam Peacock putting it in the limelight, and this is what we want to talk about it now as well, is that there could be clubs out there that if a player moves in the next couple of years, they might not know they're entitled to this. And I'm sure that LA Croatia Raiders probably are entitled for Iran Kunda moving as well. So that $2.5 million move for Gauci, that's 5% of that. It works out to be 20,000. So that's massive. And that could do so much to Cumberland.
Well, that's the thing. It can offer so much for local clubs if they can get those players there. I mean, you look at players now that are in currently maybe 9, 10, 11 years of age that are in the system. I mean, bank of mum and dad, you're looking at $20,000+ as it is on the bank of mum
exactly.
and dad. So what are the clubs also then having to fork out for get some of that money back, and hopefully they can then put it back into the club. But $20,000 for a local club can go a long way.
Exactly. And one question I have is, why don't clubs know about this? Why aren't FIFA going out there and letting clubs know? Just a simple newsletter or email saying you could be entitled to this. Keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If they start sending out those emails, clubs will eventually they just delete them. They see FIFA.
I know.
They'll delete it. They don't need to know about it.
Or why aren't they getting notified when those players are being unsold and that their money is waiting for them? Because they know the money's waiting there. They're just waiting for the club to come and claim it.
Well, that's the thing. They know the money's there. The club, obviously, they don't know that. Clubs don't know the rules. Adam Peacock spoke to 5 different clubs. None of them knew that this was a thing. So, I mean, obviously, now that he's raised it, it's now talked about. It's now going to be in the spotlight. Players and clubs will now go, hey, let's go see if there's money there.
Yeah. I want to know how much money he's actually sitting there waiting for clubs to claim. That's the interesting thing. If all those clubs, we know 5, that's potentially up to, depending on how big the transfers were, but that's potentially $100,000. But you think about the amount of clubs around the world, there could be millions sitting there that FIFA are holding.
Well, that's exactly right. It could be millions that they're holding. Who knows where it's sitting? Who knows what happens to it after a period of time? Does it then disappear?
Well, we'll find out. But, it's a massive thing. Hopefully clubs now that know about it, they can investigate it now when they see a player moves one of theirs.
Now they watch this show, they'll be able to go, hang on a sec, have we got any players that in the last few years, a period of time, have gone and got transfer fees?
Interesting. We can look into it now. The solidarity fee rules. It's not solidarity fee rules. It's solidarity fee rules. Anyway, we're going to move into it because that's what could happen with some of those players. And it could be some of those players that are playing this weekend that could be part of this for you, make you some extra cash depending if they sign on to bigger and better things. Go out and watch some football this weekend. These are the fixtures you can go and check out for the RA NPL SA for round 13. Unlucky 13, but maybe lucky for some as we try and see what happens this weekend. FK Belgrade taking on Adelaide Olympic. Almost a 6-pointer in this one.
Yeah, look, it is a massive game for both clubs. Olympic get the win. They push further gap between them and South, close the gap between them and the 2 clubs above them. FK Belgrade pushing for 6.
Definitely. Well, and also it brings back the Go Sunny Solar WNPL after a break with the Cup. Flinders United had that break. They'll be taking on the team that got smashed on the weekend, Metro United. Flinders, they'll want to try and maintain their form from the week prior with a win over West Orange Bacala. That's going to be an interesting fixture.
Look, I'm really looking forward to that fixture because the fact is Flinders have been doing really well. Metro not as well, but still going okay. But Flinders, after being almost relegated last year, now they're pushing finals. They're pushing top 3 or 4.
Exactly.
It's exciting.
It is. So, what's exciting as well is Keko's inbox. I brought it in a couple of weeks back thinking, it's something different. And now it's just lighting up. And on the weekend, I got a lot. There's a couple I can't show this week. But I like some funny stuff as well, and that's why we're going to show this one. Is something I got sent in, but I thank everyone for reaching out because it's fantastic. This week, actually, my inbox blew up, but this is one that people also sent through to me. It's the lights out down at South Adelaide. Halftime about to kick off, and I think South Adelaide, well, they switched off in the game, but they also switched the lights off in the game as well. What happened here, Mark? You were down there.
I was down there, but yeah,
Was it you?
It wasn't me, fortunately. But no, it's lights went out, and fortunately, we look at all the lighting upgrades that have happened over the past probably 3 or 4 years at a lot of the clubs. We're thankful for those because back in the day when I was playing, and even obviously probably 5+ years ago now, those lights go out. They're not coming back on for half an hour.
I thought maybe they're doing like a kickoff thing, like a Hama Stadium just before we're about to kick off and the lights flicker. I thought they were doing that, but then you saw it dim, and then,
and then it went off.
But well done to Ben Dow and David Grant in discussing that as well. It's a bit of shock between them.
Yeah, I was going to say that's exactly right. And good that the club were able to get them on so quickly, and they kicked off the half only a couple of minutes late in the end.
They got it off back on just like the flick of a switch, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And
Quick thinking.
Luckily for the lighting system these days.
Whoever thought about fixing it quickly, a bright light on top of their head. But anyway, enough of the stupid jokes. Let's head into Press for Time with Antonis Pagonis, who has some latest news.
A really exciting week, Johnny, for a few reasons. And number one, Graham Arnold selected 5 South Australian players to represent the Socceroos, which is fantastic news. But then 5 more South Australian players have been picked to represent the young Socceroos. So great to see 10 South Australian players represent our national teams. Also, big congratulations to the life member inductees from Football South Australia. Well-deserved achievements. And to finish up, who can forget Matildas tomorrow night at Adelaide Oval? I can't wait. Let's get to it.
Well, thanks again, Antonis Pagonis, one of my favourite segments. Love it. And also, this weekend is the Matildas Friday night football. Can't wait. I'm excited. Do you reckon I'll get the job done against China?
Oh, I hope so. I'll be watching from home. So
yeah. Oh,
I didn't get tickets.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, Mark.
Right.
I'll see if one of my family pull out last minute. You can jump
good.
in. I think it's my mum's birthday that night, so she's coming down to the game. I can kick her off so you can come. She can stay at home.
It's good. It's all good.
No, but it is great to have this game down here, but it's also great to thank our volunteers as well. Now it's that time of the show to announce the winner of our Nosso Café $100 gift card. $100 can go a long way at this cafe, can't it? Yeah.
It certainly can. So it's great that they've jumped on board and
Yeah.
said, "Look, here you go. Let's get the volunteers."
As soon as I spoke to them, they were absolutely keen to get on board. A great cafe. If you don't win, definitely go down there and check it out. West Lakes. It's a fantastic spot. I sit there for hours sometimes, just soaking in the views down there. But it's great to be able to highlight someone. This is our winner for the $100 gift card. Well, big congratulations to our winner, a well-deserved winner, and we thank you for what you do for the game and all our entrants as well. Big thank you to the volunteers that have been nominated. You mean a lot to us. I think I can talk for the both of us.
Oh, definitely.
Yep, and keep doing what you're doing, and we want to do more of these competitions as we go. So I will hopefully be able to thank more volunteers and people in our game as we go and try and do things like this more often. Thank you for joining us once again. Thank you, Mark. We'll see you episode 20, I'm sure.
Thanks for having me. Maybe episode 21.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see how we
21st. Yeah, there we go. Or episode 18 as well. Crack a beer with you or something. Yeah. Crack a cold one. You guys crack a cold one. Enjoy your Friday night football tomorrow night. The Matildas in Adelaide. A huge occasion. See you all next week for the local game.